stop everything right now, because the penny you're about to hear about has made ordinary people rich. And if you've ever handled loose change in your life, this could be your hidden treasure. I'm talking about the 1976 Lincoln Memorial penny with a D mint mark, a coin that looks completely ordinary, yet some versions have sold for big money, even enough to be life-changing value. Here's what makes this story so mysterious. In 1976, the United States was celebrating its 200th birthday. The U.S. Mint was under massive pressure to produce billions of coins. Machines were running nonstop. Workers were exhausted. And when that happens, mistakes slip through. Tiny mistakes. But those tiny mistakes create coins that should not exist. And those impossible coins are now being hunted by collectors all over the world. Most people think all 1976 pennies are common. They toss them in jars, spend them at stores, or let them collect dust. But buried inside those piles are rare 1976 D pennies that can turn 1 cent into hundreds, thousands, or even five-figure paydays. That's not hype. That's real auction history. Let me tell you about one man who was rolling coins he got from a bank. He almost threw 1 penny away because it looked weird. Instead, he sent to be graded. It turned out to be a rare 1976 D error, and it sold for over $7,000. That is life-changing value from a coin most people would never look at twice. Now, let me show you how you might be holding big money without knowing it. First, look at the date. It must say 1976. Then look just under Lincoln's shoulder on the front. If you see a small D, that means it was struck in Denver. That mint produced some of the most dramatic errors of that year. Next, look at the color. Normal 1976 pennies are copper-plated zinc and look reddish or brown. But some 1976 D pennies were struck on the wrong metal. If your coin looks silvery, dark gray, or unusually bright, that is a massive red flag. Off-metal errors can be worth $1,000 to over $10,000, depending on what metal it was struck on. Now here's where it gets even more shocking. Some 1976 D pennies were struck on leftover copper blanks meant for earlier years. These are heavier and darker than normal. Collectors go crazy for them. One of these rare copper planchet 1976 D pennies sold at auction for over $5,000. That's big money hiding in plain sight. Now look closely at the numbers and letters. Do the date, the word liberty, or I in God we trust look doubled, almost like a shadow or ghost image. That's called a double die, and this is one of the most valuable errors. A strong double die 1976. D penny can be worth $500 to $3,500, and sometimes even more in high grade. And then there are off-center strikes. These coins look like Lincoln is sliding off the edge of the coin. Part of the design is missing, and part of the blank is showing. These wild-looking errors can bring $200 to $1,500, depending on how dramatic they are. Another shocking variety is the clip planchet. That's when a piece of the coin is literally missing because the metal strip was cut wrong. Some 1976 D-clip pennies have sold for hundreds of dollars, and big clips in.